In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Spyro Reignited trilogy. So Spyro is a platformer that originally came out on the first PlayStation and has now been remastered for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The trilogy contains games including Spyro the Dragon, which is the first one, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. In this video, we'll be playing the PlayStation 4 version, however all the controls are the same for both console versions. We will go through the controls for all three Spyro games, looking at the essential and non-essential controls, as well as the options, which may help to reduce the number of inputs required. The game can be played with a single joystick or with directional buttons. If you go into the options menu and into camera, you can see the camera is set to active. This means the camera will follow Spyro around without the need of an extra joystick. You can also set the camera to passive mode, which gives the player more control over the camera. Whatever the setting is in, be it active or passive, the camera can still be controlled using the right stick. The X button on PlayStation allows you to jump, whereas for Xbox this would be the A button. Pressing the jump button twice allows you to glide. In Spyro 2 and 3, you'll have to hover at the end of your glide to get to certain areas. This is done by pressing triangle on PlayStation or Y on Xbox. The hover move is not featured in the first Spyro game. So Spyro has two attacks which are needed to defeat enemies. These include charging and flaming. Specific attacks will be needed to defeat certain enemies and open chests. Pressing the circle button on PlayStation will allow you to flame. For Xbox, this will be the B button. The larger enemies will require Spyro's flame attack to defeat them. Holding down the square button for PlayStation will perform Spyro's charge attack. For Xbox, this would be the B button. The charge attack is needed to defeat certain enemies, including those with armor. It's also needed for opening silver vases. In the original Spyro game for the PlayStation 1, there was a move called the barrel roll. For the Reignited trilogy, this move has been included in all three games. For PlayStation, the L1 button will roll you to the left, and R1 for the right. For Xbox, this will be the left bumper and right bumper. For Spyro 2 and 3, you have the ability to swim. Pressing the square button will allow you to dive. For Xbox, this will be the X button. Pressing the X button for PlayStation will allow Spyro to swim slowly. For Xbox, this will be the A button. Using the charge button will allow you to sprint through the water. So as a reminder, to charge is square for PlayStation and X for Xbox. There is also a skill called the head bash. For this, you will need to jump and press triangle for PlayStation. For Xbox, this would be jump and Y. The swim and head bash ability are immediately available in Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon. However, for Spyro 2, you will need to purchase these skills with gems. These skills are not available for the first Spyro the Dragon. Pressing the triangle button for PlayStation will allow you to look in first-person mode. For Xbox, this would be the Y button. If Spyro has a projectile in his mouth, the first-person mode will let Spyro shoot more accurately. When there is a projectile in Spyro's mouth, the flame button will fire it. So that's circle for PlayStation and B for Xbox. Spyro has a dragonfly called Sparx, which acts as his health counter. If you're looking for the last few gems in the level, Sparx can also point in the general direction of the last remaining gems. You can activate Sparx's gem finding ability by pressing the L3 button. For Xbox, this will be the LS button. To bring up the progress of a level that you're in, such as how many gems you found, the touchpad on the PlayStation can bring up your atlas. For Xbox, this will be the View button. In Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon, there are other playable characters, including Sparx the Dragonfly, Sheila the Kangaroo, and Sergeant Bird. There are levels called Sparx Worlds, which you play as Sparx the Dragonfly, who accompanies Spyro on his adventures. Holding the circle button will perform Sparx's attack ability. For Xbox, this will be the B button. Holding square allows Sparx to sprint. This will be the X button on Xbox. Using the left analog stick, as well as holding down L1 or R1, will allow Sparx to strafe. For Xbox, this would be left bumper or right bumper. This is a good tactic to use when overwhelmed by enemies. Sheila the Kangaroo has a jump ability that allows her to reach certain areas by jumping much higher than normal. After landing from your first jump, press and jump again will allow you to perform this move. Sheila can also double jump by pressing X twice. Sheila also has the head bash ability just like Spyro, using the same buttons. Sergeant Bird has the ability to fly by holding the X button. For Xbox, this will be the A button. He also has the ability to fire rockets by pressing the circle button. This will be the B button for Xbox. The game has subtitles which can be turned off or on in the options menu. If you're having difficulty reaching certain buttons, you can remap these by going into the accessibility menu in the PlayStation system. You can do this by going into Settings, Accessibility, into Button Assignments. Then tick Enable Custom Button Assignments. Here you can swap the sticks, so the left stick becomes the right stick and vice versa. All the buttons for Spyro can be remapped. For instance, circle can become square, so flame and charge have swapped over. Or you can move the face buttons over to the D-pad. Xbox also has the option to remap buttons. The game has two control settings, one being retro controls and the other reignited controls. You can change the controls by going into the Start menu, Options, Controls, Control Scheme, and moving left or right to select Retro Controls. The Retro Controls is the original control scheme used for the PlayStation 1 version of the Spyro trilogy. The Retro Controls allow you to control the camera movement using L2 or R2. For Xbox, this would be the left trigger or the right trigger button. The Reignited Controls will allow you to control the camera using the right stick. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with Special Effect.